Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com, for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Dr. Ulysses Labilles, and we're going to be discussing his amazing book, The Genome of Faith, a life unfolding between heaven and earth, a scientist's testament beyond the timeline. Now it's available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, man, and a whole host of other places. I'm telling you, do yourself a favor, type it into a search bar, and you're going to be greeted with all of it. While you're at it, also head on over to onenationsecho.com. You see, there, you're not going to be able to find the book or purchase it, but there are global lectures. There's a global lecture series there that Dr. Ulysses has presented, and it is going to be one that you don't want to miss. So once again, that's onenationsecho.com. And I quickly want to point out the fact that Dr. Ulysses was brought to us by one of the best publishing firms in the business, Author Reputation Press. So for my writers out there, if you've gone through your process and now you need some assistance moving that masterpiece you developed, head on over to authorreputationpress.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And people, listen, it is an absolute honor to have Dr. Ulysses here on the line. His book, The Genome of Faith, man, it follows this renowned epidemiologist who turns his scientific gaze inward, mapping the intersection of cellular biology and spiritual survival with raw honesty. You see, this memoir follows him from the front lines of COVID-19 to the precipice of his own mortality. Dr. Ulysses weaves a double helix of data and divinity that challenges everything we know about healing. Trust me when I tell you, man, this book is not just a memoir. It is a revolutionary manifesto proving that faith and science aren't opposing forces, but complementary strands in our genetic code for resilience. This is a book you are not going to be able to put down. Once you hear his story, you follow his life, I promise you, man, you're going to walk away moved. You're going to walk away changed. You're going to walk away a better individual, right? I mean, there's something about not only his journey, but if you have ever known someone that has received really any terminal diagnosis, but cancer being so widespread is something that we all have an experience with. Chances are you listening in right now have known someone, are diagnosed yourself, or maybe will know someone in the very near future that have received that diagnosis. And there's something about it that changes perspectives, that alters the way we view things and how we learn to appreciate and internalize certain things. Dr. Ulysses is the embodiment of a person of distinction, and it is an absolute delight to have him here. His book is going to do just that. Sit back and strap in. Dr. Ulysses, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, thank you very much, Ben. It is truly a blessing to be with you here today.
Well, listen, man, the blessing and the honor is all ours. We are looking forward to this discussion. I recognize how beneficial your book is, man. So it is a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for writing it. Thank you for showcasing it. Let's jump right in. I want to first start off by learning a little bit more about yourself. Now, this is a memoir, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of overlap and not a problem whatsoever. But let's start at the foundation. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Yeah, my background, my academic background is I am a chronic disease epidemiologist. And during the pandemic, I was hired by CDC Foundation to be infectious disease epidemiologist of the COVID-19 response corps.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, and I'm a Filipino, I'm an Asian American, to be accurate, as a Pacific Islander here in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, let's jump now into your book. Thank you very much for the background. Tell us more about your book, The Genome of Faith.
Yeah, about the Genome of Faith. Just if we're going to dissect the title of my book, The Genome of Faith, it's actually parallel to the argument of a 2004 hypothesis of Dean Hamer about God gene. But I wrote this book. I believe that it's about time to discuss about the genome of faith. So it is our spiritual DNA that shapes how we endure on suffering that I'm undergoing right now in battling the non-small cell lung cancer.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's explore this a little bit further, because I love the duality here. The title, The Genome of Faith, man, it suggests a fusion, right, of genetics and spirituality. Well, I want to know, what parallels do you see between the code of DNA and the code of spiritual belief? I mean, are they in conflict to one another, or do they share a hidden language? Talk to us about that, because oftentimes, especially from an outside perspective, like I am not a medical physician. I've dabbled in that, but that was, that's decades ago now. But there is there's always this separation of medicine and spirituality, but your title seems to really combine those two. So talk to us a little bit more about, in your opinion, how they coexist.
In my opinion, the genome of faith coexists with the biology standpoint of a genome. In biology, it carries our complete genetic instruction, how we are predisposed to the disease. But then with the genome of faith, it is our spiritual DNA. This is my first time to mention this, which is my own meta theory, which is about the unified paradigm of the evolutionary progression of faith. It is about how we inherit our belief, our strength, how we cope any challenges is through our faith, through our belief in God.
Yeah. A part of all of this that is undeniable was your diagnosis. Your diagnosis of stage 4 lung cancer forced a realization with mortality. Well, how did writing this book become, or if writing this book became part of your own healing, or even your preparation for what lies beyond?
Yeah, based on an old definition of a stage 4 cancer, before my current research interest, which is precision oncology, if you are diagnosed with stage 4, there's nothing for you. There's no more treatment.
Yeah.
But with the new ones of the current research on precision oncology, and with it's a cancer-specific genomic sequencing, with my medical oncologist was able to identify my gene mutation that led to the development of non-small cell lung cancer. It's called as the jumping genes, which is MET-exon-14, that gives way to targeted treatment to my disease. Because with cancer, a blunt instrument, which is one-size-fits-all treatment, which is chemotherapy. It gives you a lot of side effects. But knowing that you to target your cancer genes through targeted therapy, it gives cancer patients the quality of life.
People, I'm telling you, this is a book you need to add to your shelf. Again, it's called The Genome of Faith, a life unfolding between heaven and earth, a scientist's testament beyond the timeline. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble. Make sure to check out his global lecture series on onenationsecho.com. There is so much here to be gained. This is one you're going to want to add to your shelf. Dr. Ulysses, I'm curious, man, when it came to this writing process, how did you go about, because it is a memoir, so it talks about not only your background in your profession, but it's going to discuss a lot of other aspects of your life. Well, while constructing this, how did you decide what pieces of information to incorporate in the book and which to leave off?
Yeah, my decision of the different chapters of my book is something that I could leave to people in pain, people who was diagnosed with cancer. And if you're terminally ill, sometimes you lose hope. But with this book, reading my book, you'll realize that you're not alone, that you have in this battle with all the people around you that will support you. And also with my book will give hope and give quality of life for people with terminal illness.
Dr. Ulysses, I think that's a great point to bring up and to offer hope, right? To offer advice, to some light to those out there that are living in such a dark place. Well, as we begin closing out, I'm curious to know if you had the opportunity to hop in a time machine and go back, and you're able to sit down with your pre-diagnosed self, what would you tell him?
Yeah, it's all about for me tracing my family cancer history. I discussed this on my dissertation. It's about germline mutation and somatic mutation, and what if you are predisposed to a disease or to cancer, it's like a lifeline that the family history. It's all about early surveillance. With what happened to me with my non-small cell lung cancer, I'm asymptomatic. I play tennis, competitive, a USA League tennis, and I ride my bike a lot. And I didn't feel anything different during the days that asymptomatically that I already have cancer. And then by the time I was taken to neuro ICU at Barnes Jewish Center, they saw a tumor in my brain. My cancer already spread to my brain, and that's why I'm going to have another a procedure this coming Friday, which is an experimental procedure called laser interstitial thermal therapy to take care of me and extend my life a little bit longer.
Dr. Ulysses, something that you had mentioned previously that I find fascinating. And again, I don't want to get too much into the weeds here with the science, but I can't see myself getting away from it. I want to explore further. Tell us more about the God gene that you had referenced before.
Yeah, let me tell you about God gene that was first introduced by Dean Hamer in 2004. It is a combination of behavioral genetics, neurobiology, and psychology. That's his premise about the God gene.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, my premise about the Genome of Faith, it's my premise based on my own meta theory, which is the unified paradigm of evolutionary progression of faith. It's somewhat the Darwinian evolutionary progression about our faith, on how we are introduced to our faith in our belief in God when we are growing up, which is passed on from one generation to another.
You know, Dr. Ulysses, your journey has mapped the uncharted territory where science and spirit converge. And as I mentioned before, I mean, it maybe in certain circles there are already a lot that has been done, and it's not so foreign. But for me, and I'm sure a lot of others out there, man, you're proving that even in our most fragile human cells, there exists a divine code of resilience. Your story.
It's a living code. The Genome of Faith is a living code. That actually makes us strong to fight the battle of a terminal disease.
And that's why I'm saying, like, it isn't just a story about survival, man. It reveals how hope, like the most precise genetic therapy, can rewrite what seems inevitable. So one truth resonates, at least for me, as we close out, and that is faith is not the absence of evidence, but the courage to believe in what the data can't yet explain. And I think that is something profound, man. What you are showcasing here, and just the bravery to share your story, because that's another thing that we can all relate to, man. There's some times where it's hard enough for us to look in the mirror at ourselves and recognize certain things, but to showcase a vulnerable side of your journey to the world takes bravery and it takes courage, and one that we truly appreciate. And your life's work reminds us that while medicine may heal the body, it's grace that heals the soul. So to the readers out there facing their own battles, man, allow this book to be the blueprint that guides you from despair to discovery. It allows you to strengthen your faith through the words found on this. So once again, it's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble. This is a book that you need to add to your shelf. And Dr. Ulysses needs to be thanked for creating it and bringing it to you, so you know where to go. Dr. Ulysses, this has been a true pleasure, man. As I mentioned at the top of the show, and I knew it was going to be this way, this is an absolute honor speaking with you. But thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you very much, Ben. And it is truly a blessing to be with you. I just want to say that God is great, and God is always around us. God is always on our side in our darkest moments.